All right. You see the stats right there. See the stats right there. We got a question for today. We might have to make it a poll. Is Lamar Jackson overrated? Is the hype real or is Lamar Jackson overrated? Kinda. Either is or ain't. Do we need some more help? Okay. So, we're gonna try to set this like that. So, welcome to the graffiti jungle. Paulo Pulingue. Benvenuti nella jungle di graffiti. Questo è Impostore Rockstar. It's the fake Rockstar chat show. Pensieri Tangentiali, formerly known as Tangential Thought Chat Show. We got a podcast for Gihareh. When we able to work on it, then it's gonna be a whole thing. We're gonna use instead of sessione. Shout out to Dog Bailey. Instead of sessione, we're gonna use soggetto. Primo soggetto. First subject 2025. Anyway, questo è. Sono il tuo capo, io sono Chief Gihareh Juicy. I messed my whole intro up. Anyway, so yesterday, which was Sunday, January 4th, 2025, 2026, excuse me. Yesterday, which was Sunday, January 4th, 2026, the Ravens had a chance to get to the playoffs. Now, things about the Ravens and going to the playoffs right about now is the fact that Patrick Mahomes is not in the playoffs. Now, for the last few years, it's been a while. Patrick Mahomes has been spanking that ass. Pause. Patrick Mahomes had the whole league on lock. This is just, if you allow me to go from the NFL to the NFL, the NBA, it was when Jordan. There are people who did not get rings. They're good players. They just played when Jordan was playing. Jordan did a three-peat, retired, came back and did another three-peat. There's a lot of people who didn't get rings. There was only 2 years that Jordan didn't whatchamacallit. 2 years. And in those 2 years, somebody else got a ring. This is what this feels like. Patrick Mahomes been going to the AFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl for the last few years. And this year, it would seem like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen has a chance, right? Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. One of the things is they not bad quarterbacks. They just played in the same. They both playing in the same. They not even if Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen played in the NFC, that might be a whole thing. If Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen played in the NFC, they might have a they still might not have a ring. They at least would have made it to the Super Bowl. So that's the logic, right? That's the rhetoric. But they playing in the same conference as Patrick Mahomes. They all in the AFC, and Patrick Mahomes just been. Whoosh. I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry, not sorry. I got a ring to go get. Now, Patrick Mahomes has been all up and through these years, right? And Patrick Mahomes is 3-2 in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson 0-0 in the Super Bowl. And they've been playing, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but they've been playing for about the same time. Patrick Mahomes is 3-2 in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes could retire right now and make it to the Hall of Fame. Patrick Mahomes can retire. So this is why one of those things when they was talking about, is he the GOAT? He's definitely on the trajectory. He's too young. He's not, I don't think he's 30 yet. Or if he is, he's either getting close to 30 or he's young. Like, I don't think he's over 30 yet. Lamar Jackson's the same, but Patrick Mahomes is 3-2 in the Super Bowl. 3-2. This is the first year that when the Chiefs, when it was a headline that the Chiefs might not make it to the playoffs. And then when somebody said that, it was like, bro, what? Shut up. And then it was like, bro, for real, they not make it to the playoffs, bro? That's crazy. Now, somebody said this on the live stream this morning. They said Lamar Jackson's overrated. I'm like, man, fuck out of here, bro. Like, that's not true. Like I'm saying here, like, no, like I'm not even like going to entertain it. Like, that's not true. Lamar Jackson's not overrated. What are you talking about? His highlight tape, crazy, bro. What's his playoff stats looking like? These regular season stats, they ain't translate to nothing. These regular season stats, playoffs. Those would be the stats to actually put up in here. These regular season stats, we got it because you got MVP up in here. No Super Bowl. If Patrick Mahomes retired right now, he going to the Hall of Fame. He has a Hall of Fame resume while you was playing. Those are the things you got to sit there and talk about. You had highlights. It took you a while to get to the first round. Bounce. You can like, and then every single one of these years, there's one defining play. Like, how good are you, right? Because one thing about the whole winning thing is like, are you just barely winning? You know, because then you start talking about stories, this and that, third. But the conversation is, it's one play. Every year there's one play. Like, so it's not that you're doing really well. Every season has been defined by one play. I have to whatchamacallit, because, and the reason I have to keep bringing Patrick Mahomes up is because if they've been playing for about the same amount of time, have a similar whatchamacallit. And when Patrick Mahomes comes in, he starts winning. So, where was I going with this one part right here? So, these stats that when it comes to the playoffs, the reason I was bringing Patrick Mahomes back up and again is because, and again, if you allow me to make this NBA reference, it was like playing the Warriors, bro. Patrick Mahomes was the Steph Curry of the league. The Chiefs were the Warriors of the league. Like, and this is why they want to talk about defense. Defense wins championships. It was like, no. It was a no. If you were not going to score over 30 points, you weren't beating the Chiefs. That's how bad it was, bro. The Chiefs didn't even care. Not that they didn't care, but it was like, bro, if you still had to score. Their defense wasn't, it was just like, yeah, you could score whatever, but the Chiefs were going to put up 30. They was going to score about 4 or 5 times. They was going to put up 31 points. At the end of the day, if you weren't going to score more than 30 points, you weren't going to beat the Chiefs. So it was offense. And I make the NBA reference because that's what was going on with the Warriors. Yeah, that's fine. You can have these big, tall players and this and the third. We got these finesse players. We shooting these threes. So, and we making them. So if you not, if you not putting up and so with the Warriors, it was, yeah, but it's that third. But if you weren't going to score 120 plus, if you weren't going to score 120 plus points, you wasn't beating the Warriors. That's what I'm saying. So on the Warriors side, it's about offense. They want to talk about defense? No, fuck that. That's why the Warriors and Steph Curry changed the league. It was, if you weren't going to put up over 120 points, you wasn't beating the Warriors. In the NFL reference, if you wasn't putting up 28 to 31 points, you wasn't beating the Chiefs. And if you gave Patrick Mahomes any type of whatchamacallit, he was probably just going to win that game. If it's a one-score game, Patrick Mahomes is going to win that game. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because every one of these seasons was defined by one play, one drop pass, one fumble, a 2-point conversion, a missed field goal. Literally, that's how this season just ended, which is another reason this is even in conversation right now. That's another reason this is even in conversation right now. Another, like, parts of this, and like this, because there's so many different thirds that go, like, there's a lot of, like, little things that kind of sort of, and it's like they're not negligible at a certain point. Like, it has to become, it is a part of the narrative. It is a part of the story. So, um, this one, and these are where you quiet the noise. This is where you quiet the noise, and there you take control over this. And so the game yesterday, you know, with some things in life, you just be sitting there like, it's out of your control. What's the serenity prayer, right? Grant me the serenity and something like that. The things I can't control, the courage to change the things I can control, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. But for a lot of teams, this is what you, like, the position that they were in yesterday is not the most perfect. It's not the most, but it's you're in control of your own destiny. It's you win and you're in, and that's it. It's literally one game, and you literally just say, man, this could potentially be the you don't, because you never know how with the game's going, right? Football's a high contact sport, and the injuries and all this and the third. One game, go win one game, and that's all that is the only, and because you take it as one game at a time, 1 week at a time, and that was the only thing you had to do yesterday. Some people, some teams be on some, man, even if we win, this team got to lose, this team got to win, this has to happen. The Ravens didn't have that. At the end of the day, and when it finally comes down to it, for all the stuff in the story surrounding this season, it was, you still have control over what happens. You get to decide whether you go to the playoffs or not. You get to decide whether you go to the playoffs or not. All you got to do is win. You win and you're in. And who do you got to play? You play Aaron Rodgers and the old team. People sitting there talking about Aaron Rodgers is like, bro, Aaron Rodgers is still playing? The conversation around Aaron Rodgers is, this might be his last season. He might not be playing no more. That's the conversation around Aaron Rodgers. You facing old man Rodgers. You facing a guy who came up under Brett Favre, who played it with the whole generation before you, right? And it's like, just beat the Steelers, bro. You got to just win one game. Just win one game. And then it still gets to a point where, that's why I say, all of these have been based off, every season has been defined by one play. And yesterday's ended a missed field goal. And not even oh man, it's a 40-yard field goal. It's this and the third. It's no, bro. All you had to do was, I think they got the ball down to the 22-yard line. This isn't a 45-yard kick. Ice the kicker. Somebody else hit a 57-yard field goal. This ain't no 50, 60-yard field goal. It's on a 22-yard line, so it's like a plus the 10 yards from the field goal. It's like a 30-something yard, 35-yard field goal max. So imagine sitting here saying that. Imagine sitting here saying, if you make a 35-yard field goal, you go to the playoffs. And this is the first year you don't even have to play against Patrick Mahomes. You ain't got to play against Patrick Mahomes. And so initially when somebody said that he was overrated, I was like, nah, right? And it's because of all the highlights. But then it's starting to be one of those things where Shorty called, she said that they're lovable losers. They're going to have a good play here and there. They can string some good, they can play. How many, he had, even if it wasn't exactly, he had 3 touchdowns yesterday, like 3 50-yard touchdowns. Blown coverage, 1, 2, maybe in another one that was just in the third. Like, He had like three touchdowns that were just like, and then the last one was even like a good 30 to 40 yard pass to put them on the 22 which part. They're gonna have some highlights. It's the first year Patrick Mahomes is not in the playoffs, bro. Who made it? Who made it though? By tooth and nail. At a 6 seed, the Bills make it. Josh Allen made it. You see what I'm saying? And then, and then another part of it like is like, you know, well, okay, he did get injured this season. Well, Cam says it like this: the best ability is availability. The best ability is availability. So if you're not available to play and to put your teams in positions to win more, to even not be in a position where it's different from saying like, yeah, even if we lose, we still gonna make it to the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? He's on some, but even if all that, you still were in a position to say, if we win, we make it to the playoffs. And the worst thing about this season was he was in talks of, he was an MVP candidate. He was an MVP candidate, right? People would have thought that he was going to be MVP of this season. Why? Because of what he just did the prior season. 41-4. 41-4. 41-4, right? So you come off of that season. And what does he do this season? But partly because of what you call it, before this season starts, that's what I'm gonna say. What did he do before the season start? Man, I just got a 40 touchdown season. I'm gonna get more money. He held out, had the negotiations. He's the highest paid quarterback in the league. And this is what, if you held out, you get your contract extension, you the highest paid quarterback in the league. Why you ain't even go to the playoffs? And if you're gonna sit here and talk about injury, at some point injury becomes a part of your story. If you're not available to put your teams in positions to win, and if you're not winning, and you're not winning when it matters, don't nobody give a fuck about this regular season stats. Don't nobody care about regular season stats. That don't translate. That's not whatchamacallit. What did that do? What did it? If you like, imagine just you a good regular season team. You a good regular season team. Where your rings at, bro? Where's your rings at, bro? And so the other part about this is, okay, because I asked, because then it becomes, okay, well, what else does he need? He has people to throw it to. The offensive line ain't bad. All right? The offensive line is decent. And even if it ain't the most best offensive line, he was known as what? What was the whole rhetoric with him coming in? Bro, he always running the ball. He a running back, not a quarterback. You go play wide receiver. He not a quarterback. So use your legs. Even if the offensive line is at the third, you supposed to be nice. You got the most rushing yards for a quarterback in the season. So even if the offensive line ain't that's more reason for you to get out and just at the third. Open up the offense for you. You supposed to be able to open up the offense for everybody else on the team. But then the fact you can throw. So you got Derrick Henry as a running back. Like, on paper, there's no reason you should be a juggernaut. You should be going through the league easily. People should be scared to face the Ravens, bro. And it should be the conversation, just like I said, a couple years ago, if you wasn't scoring more than 30 points, you wasn't beating the Chiefs. It don't matter. You can put up 28 points, the Chiefs was going to score 31. If you scored 31, the Chiefs might put up 40. It was those type of vibes. You got Derrick Henry. Shit, you got DeAndre Hopkins, as not even as a first round. As a not, you don't you have DeAndre Hopkins not as a first option. You have mad other people to throw it to. You have an offense. You should have a well-oiled machine type of like offense, a juggernaut of an offense. And then you hold out to become one of the highest paid quarterbacks. If it's not one of it's like the highest paid quarterback. And then you put up this, but this, and so this is one of those things they talk about outliers. I don't care about, oh, this is what happened. What do you usually do? And that's why I started looking at this. What do you usually do? At this point, you've only had 2 seasons where you put up over 30 touchdowns. Only 2. So those are negligible in a sense. So what do you usually do? And then this season, you did what you normally do. 20-something, almost double digits on the interceptions here. So that makes that 41-4, that's an outlier. That 36-6, that's an outlier. We see it, but what do you usually do? In these, if you take away the name, that's the part, bro. If you take away the name Lamar Jackson and I just say John Doe, if these are John Doe stats, you're not going to look at that 36-6. You're not looking at that 41-4 because you're going to be like, for the most part, it might be 19 and I could expect about 8 or 9 interceptions. And what type of quarterback is that? What type of quarterback is you going to sit here and say, on average? On average. Let me see if I can make, do any type of quick math here. How many seasons is this? Let me see how many seasons this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 seasons. Because he didn't start that whatchamacallit. So actually, I'm gonna move that one up. So let's say if I add that 6 to that one right there, I'm gonna try to do some quick math. I'm gonna just say 20 plus 40 is 60 plus another 20, 80. I'll say plus 20, that's 100. Here we go, 125, 150. That might be 100 and that's close to basically. If I add those next two, that's like 170. That's 170 over. That's about 170 touchdowns over the last 7 to 8 years. So 170 divided by 7. 7 goes into 17 2 times. And then 17 minus 14, that's 3. 30. And then, so that's 24. 7 goes into 34 times. And then you got a remainder of 2. So he's averaging about 24 touchdowns, which is what that one is right there. He's averaging 24 touchdowns a season. Okay. Roughly. Let's look at the interceptions. We might as well go all the way for these. Let me see. 7 plus 4. No, let me see. Those are 3 7s. That's 21. Plus 4. That's 25. 25 plus 10 is going to be 35 plus 3, 38. Plus that 3 is 41. Plus the 6 is 47. 47 plus 9 is going to be 56. And 56 divided by 8 is going to be about 7. That's about 7. So, average wise, he's he's about 24-7, which is that same season right here. He's about 24-7. Okay, we just going with these averages here. All right, let's see if we can do I'm gonna try to do quick with the yardage. Let's see what he's averaging on yardage. I'm gonna go, let's add up the overall, James. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus 2, 13, plus 2, 15, plus 3, 18, 19. So that's 19. Here's 3, that's 10, so he'll be at 20. Here's another 10. Another 1,000. 20, 21. Hold on, let me make sure. I got 19 that's coming down. This is 3 and that's 10. So that's 20. Here's another 1,000. That's 21. That's another 1,000. That's 22. So that's like 2,200. That's like 2,200 yard. Whatchamacallit, and then divide that by 7 or 8. 8, because it really 8 here. That would bring it below 3,000. But if I just divide it by 7, that would make it about 3,000. So legitimately, it's just around 3,000. So legitimately, average-wise, you can expect, right, 3,000 yards, 24-7. 3,000, 24-7. And the next part of it is he overrated, right? Is he overrated if it's 3,000, if you can expect 3,000, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and that's just what it's going to be, right? That's just what it is. Overall, you might have an influx, you might have a couple outliers, but you're going to have you're going to have some ones that's like here and here type of John. You're going to have some that's in the, whatchamacallit, that's going to bring it down. It's the average. Some is high, sometimes it's lower. So the other part about the conversation is then expectations, right? It's expectations. And so it's not a weird thing with expectations, but it is, right? It is like, we expect you to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And so like, those are like knocks with like, again, just to make an NBA reference, because people consider it third, it's like LeBron, right? LeBron coming in, LeBron either met or exceeded your expectations. You know what I'm saying? And regardless, it's 4 championships. It's, but 10 straight is it 8 or 10 straight finals appearances? It's 50,000 points. It's a lot of different whatchamacallits, right? So with Patrick Mahomes, within these, I think he may have like 1 or 2 playoff wins. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not more than 5. It's either you're not getting there, when you're getting there, you're not whatchamacallit. So, and one of the things is like with figuring it out, right? You got to figure out like, so, and again, just to make the NBA reference, that was with LeBron. LeBron was like, man, it took a while. I had to learn how to win, right? I had to learn how to win. And once I learned how to win, then it's just a matter of being consistent with the winning. And so this is why, like, times and years like this, you don't have the longevity. And again, like, I'm making NBA references, and I'm talking about the NFL, but it's like NBA, you see people play for 20 years. You're not really getting that. And especially with the way Lamar plays, you're not really going to get that, whatchamacallit, right? So it's more along the lines of, okay, you might get 7, 10, 12, 15 is on the high end for a quarterback, but not of a quarterback that plays like you play. A lot of quarterbacks that play like Lamar have short careers, which is one of those things where it's like with Patrick Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes retires right now and never plays another game, he has a Hall of Fame career. And you've never even sniffed the Super Bowl to even say that you got the 0-1 of the Super Bowl. So, expectation wise, it was on some. Uh, that's what. So the point is like with expectations, right? And the expectations come from where? It comes from society. It comes from us. Like there is a whole bro on like as a just watch some people just like, bro, I made it to the league. A lot of people don't even make it to the league. But that ain't the mentality that you like looking for. You don't want to hear somebody say like, oh, you just made it, bro. It's nah, bro. Like win, right? It's legacy. And so he hasn't made it to the Super Bowl yet, right? And so and again, there are a lot of good quarterbacks. And there are some quarterbacks who just they don't get mentioned enough or even talked about. You got to understand, Peyton Manning barely gets talked about, bro. Peyton Manning barely gets talked about because he played during Tom Brady's era. Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Phillip Rivers, because Phillip Rivers is what you call it, right? You know how many good quarterbacks they were, but they played during when Tom Brady was playing, and so that because of how his greatness it just eclipses a lot of what you call it. But Peyton Manning, the other Eli Manning was also playing. You see what I'm saying? And so there's been a lot of quarterbacks that this and that third. And so one of the things is like, especially like, because you talk about Hall of Fame. It's there are so many players you don't mention their name, but there are some like it changes the trajectory in the course of the history of the game, and you can't talk about the history of the NFL without mentioning certain players. And as of right now, as it stands, he would be one of those non-mentioning players. He, where the name might come up every once in a while because of, but it ain't gonna be for a quarterback. Well, I mean, it'll be for a quarterback, but it's because of rushing yards. You'll get thrown in, and it's not a bad thing, but whenever Michael Vick or before Donovan and that, there was another Eagles quarterback that used to be like really good at like scrambling and stuff. Like you'll get mentioned with like scrambling quarterbacks, Cam Newton and stuff. You know what I'm saying? People who had this capability. But when they talk about like the overall scope of the game and the history of the game, it could very well be that Lamar Jackson's name won't get mentioned as it stands up today. As it stands up today. Because he's never won a Super Bowl. And he's barely won a playoff game. Like, those are the type of whatchamacallits, right? Those are the type of things to like look at and say for a quarterback. For a quarterback. Even like people and I'm saying this because like even certain people's names who get mentioned as far as like Dan Marino. I don't think Dan Marino even has a ring. I'm not sure if Dan Marino has a ring, but his joint comes. I think they're like, was it the 72 Dolphins or 92 Dolphins or something? One of them Dolphin teams that went undefeated. I think he went to I think he at least got to a Super Bowl. I think. I'm not sure about that. But that's because that's a little bit before whatchamacallit. But still, he gets a lot of respect. He gets a lot of respect, but more so for throwing prowess. And so, um, it becomes, as it stands, if Lamar just continues to do what he does, which is average about 3,000 yards, is that a great quarterback? It don't make you whatchamacallit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that 41, you guys, like, I've seen Tom Brady throw for 50. I've seen Brett Favre. I've seen Peyton Manning. I've seen quarterbacks go for 50, bro. So it ain't like that 41-4 ain't like it's cool, but like I said, it's an outlier. It ain't what you normally do. And that's what you capitalize on getting paid off of that season. But you for damn sure wouldn't have got that quote, that whatchamacallit, if it was off that 20 coming off a 24-7 season. And the reason that it seems decent for you to have like these type of whatchamacallits is because, and the reason 3K is it in 3K is like very whatchamacallit, but it's because you also have 1 to 2,000 rushing yards. You will also have 1 to 2,000 rushing yards. But the other quarterbacks are going to throw like the premier top tier, what we're gonna say there and say like, oh, they're moving into a certain status in a certain realm. They're throwing for 4,000 to 5,000 yards. They're consistently, they're throwing for 4,000 to 5,000 yards. Those ones who are just in third, the reason you get a pass for certain stuff is the reason you get a pass for barely scraping 3,000, which is here, barely scraping 3,000. Here and here is again, it's the coupling with that you just got 1,000 rushing yards too. You got an extra 1,000 to 2,000 rushing yards. That counts for something. Counts for something. But them other quarterbacks they quarterbacks and they on some. Nah, I'd rather have a 4,000 jank, high 30s, averaging over 30. Cause I forget what quarterback was it, and it was like super bad, and it might be I could be wrong about this, but it might be Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston. I think he had a 30-30 year. I think he had 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, type of thing. I think he had a different type of 30 for 30. Like, did you see what I'm saying? Like, most like other legitimate quarterbacks, bro, are having, especially like the ones that are going on to win Super Bowls and this and the third, they're having a 4,000 to 5,000 yards passing. They're throwing for 35 plus touchdowns consistently. And with that, you kind of like, if their interceptions hovers in low teens, it's like, bro, they're throwing for 35, 40 touchdowns each, whatchamacallit, bro. And so like that's what I'm saying. Like it's another reasons with as far as expectation, and the reason you can't like we can't like neglect the expectation part is because that's the same reason you held out for more money this year to become the highest paid quarterback. Because expectation wise, you just came off of 41-4. So what are we expecting for you? And so after getting your money, after getting paid, you throw for half the amount of touchdowns and more back to regular and more interceptions. Where's the consistency? Because you consistently getting paid. You consistently getting paid millions, guaranteed. I guarantee. You got guaranteed money. You got guaranteed millions. You got guaranteed millions, but you can't guarantee me a playoff win? It's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. This is why the expectations are coming into play, because that's what you did. The only reason you got your money is because you expected and everybody else expected you to at least get to the playoffs. At least. Bare minimum. Bare minimum. Expectations are coming into play because you are the highest paid quarterback and you don't make it to the playoffs. And it is not only the fact that you didn't make it to the playoffs, you had a chance. Even with everything that happened, you still had a chance to make it to the playoffs. You had a chance to make it to the playoffs, bro. And it's on some one game, and I didn't, and everybody else gonna say that I didn't see it. I didn't see when you throw this interception that got deflected by the linebacker, not even the linebacker. It gets deflected at the line, and then another lineman picks it off. I didn't see the anger. I didn't see the frustration. People are scared. There's memes of Tom Brady sitting on the bench. You can't talk to him. I gotta win this game. Where there's no, they don't have that for you. That I didn't see that from you yesterday. In the game where you win and you're in, you have control over whether your team makes it to the playoffs or not. You have control over this. You're known for being a Russian quarterback. You're known for this and the third. You're the highest paid quarterback. And you got multiple chances in the fourth quarter to just win this game. You have to win one game and you're in the playoffs. And you don't make it to the playoffs after holding out for more money to become the highest paid player, and you put this pressure and you put this expectation on yourself, and you followed up with not even a playoff win. You don't throw for 3,000 yards. You didn't throw for 35 plus touchdowns. It's upsetting. It's frustrating. It's upsetting and it's frustrating. That's all I'm saying. It would be upsetting and frustrating. You didn't even make it to the playoffs, bro. You didn't even make it to the playoffs this year. Because the other part, I was like, well, what else does he need, bro? He has people to throw it to. You're not going to say that he needs an amazing offensive line. He has a decent offensive line, and if things break down, he has escapability. And you got a running back that people are scared to tackle. So all of that coupled together, what else do you need? Why are you underperforming? After you holding out was supposed to be, this is how much I'm worth. This last season ain't worth shit. You don't get a lot of opportunities to sit here and make it to the chip. You don't have a lot of opportunities to make it to the chip, bro. You gotta play every game as if it was your last game. You're not even in a position to take a week off of this and a third. You have multiple weeks off. You're in a position where you're supposed to win and you have to win. And this is one of them, like, when they talk about clutch factor and this and the third, I can't trust you to win, bro. This is why with Tom Brady, you have to mention these other names because it's like this is what we've known and this and the third. And Tom Brady didn't have to be the highest paid quarterback. Tom Brady was on I'm taking a pay cut so I can have me a decent offensive line. I need some people to throw it to. I need this and the third. I'm taking a pay cut. I'm trying to win though. I'll get my money on the back end. Because if I win this Super Bowl, I'm going to get money on the back end. I'm going to get some more endorsements. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get the money back. So this whole little tactic of holding out this and the third, that made it seem like you wasn't even that confident in this and the third. You know that you're not even supposed to be whatchamacallit, bro. That's what it felt like. And the reason I'm bringing up Tom Brady Jones is because there has been multiple times, multiple games where we got scared, not scared, but it's like, Tom Brady about to win this game, bro. I don't know how. But Tom Brady's on the bench, and he not talking to nobody, and can't nobody talk to him. Because he's ready to get back on the field. And he's going to go win this game. The one player having that will and saying, we're about to go win this game. And I can't look at you and say that. Because when it's those moments, every single season has been defined by one play. Which means that you were in position and every single time it's, bro, just go win this one game, bro. Get to the next and just get to the next. And that was what I thought. That was what the thing was supposed to be like, bro. If you had to make playing like, bro, this could be my last game. This could be my last season. How I'm gonna go out on this game? That's why they made the whole Jane week, bro. I don't feel like I can't trust you to win the game. I can't trust you to win the game. One game. That's what it is. Just one game. Because that's what this gen came down to. And then you're in the playoffs. And then the playoffs is the exact same thing. Win one game until you get to the daggone Super Bowl, bro. They have built this team around you. A lot of quarterbacks, case in point, Shedeur don't even have this type of whatchamacallit. Shedeur don't even have this. A team that's trying to build around him. Is one of, you know what I mean? You know, like those, like you have that type of situation where like, we're gonna build around this person and do everything just for it so it can be catered to this person. Case in point, Shedeur can't even say, man, they're gonna build around me and invest me and they ask Shedeur questions. Shedeur don't feel like he got job security. You know what league this is? You can lose your job at any point in time. You don't even have that type of whatchamacallit, but maybe you should. Cause you play like you're not playing with no type of urgency, a sense of, like when they talk about Kobe mentality, you're not playing with no type of, I gotta win. I'm not getting this vibe and this feel like you hungry and you gotta win. Talk is cheap. I'm the type to let money talk for me. Where's your performance at? What it's doing? You got the money, bro. You getting paid, and this is all you got to do. Why you not winning? Why you not winning? Because it comes down to a point of, all right, it comes down to a point, are you winning? Or now that you have all of this, is this the best that you can do? Because I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm not thinking that there's much else to whatchamacallit. So is this your peak? Is this best for you? Because your best isn't good enough. Your best isn't good enough. It hasn't been. And if you have more to give and you have more to whatever, why is that? Because now it's going into 8 years. This is already 8. It's going into 9 years. And then we'll have 10 years. We're getting close to 10 years. And you still gonna be able, you still saying that you not at your best? You still haven't had a year where it's like you gave it your all? Because you either have given your all and you haven't gotten past the first, you ain't did shit in the playoffs. So either you have gave it your all and it wasn't enough, or you haven't gave it your all and now we have to question your character here. Why haven't you had a season where you gave it everything that you had? These is those like Adrian Peterson goes down as a legendary running back. Gets injured. What does Adrian Peterson do after injury? Comes back with a speedy recovery and runs over 2,000 yards. What does Adrian Peterson do? Oh man, it took me, I can't even walk. I get paid to run, I can't even walk. What Adrian Peterson do? Come back the next season. These niggas can't fuck with a picture of me. Fuck off me. You ain't having them type of seasons, bro. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing that. You ain't putting the pressure on the league. Ain't nobody scared to play Lamar. Ain't nobody scared to play the Ravens. Either because they got a whatchamacallit, or just because, bro, we got to put up points. They done figured you out or something, bro. Switch this something. Your best ain't been good enough. If you don't feel like, if you feel like you still got room to get better after 9 or 10 years, yeah, I know that the largest room in the world is room for improvement. What else you need to work on? What else you need to do? Because you're not a rookie no more. You're not a rookie no more. You ain't a sophomore. You're a veteran. You're a veteran in the league. Highest paid. And you ain't even in the playoffs. And then it becomes one of those, I'm not sure if you might make it to the playoff next year. I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure if the Ravens will be in the playoffs next year. I don't know if they need any other additional pieces or whatever the pieces that you could probably do for them. But as of right now, I can't trust Lamar. I can't trust that if you get to the end of the season and if you win one game, you make it to the playoffs. I can't trust that you're going to make it to the playoffs. I'm not sure the Ravens will make it to the playoffs. That's why yesterday's game was so important. Because if you could have did it, you would have did it already. Ain't no woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's just we can't all these ifs and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? Next season, like I said, you get to a moment and say, hey, the Ravens have to win one game. If the Ravens win this game, they're going to the playoffs. Well, last year, all they had to do was win the one game against Aaron Rodgers' old ass. And he ain't do that. So I don't trust you. If you're on Metro, I don't trust you. I don't trust you to win the game.